Hi, dear friends. Good morning. Welcome back to Akshardhari. I am Yuva Devraj. So, today is Saturday, 9th September. Let's start reading the newspaper. So, let's start reading the today newspaper. And hope you guys learning great and also following the tips which I have given in the previous videos. Before going to start today's session, I would request you guys to please subscribe the channel, like and comment, and please share the video if you like the video. So let's start reading the newspaper. Yes, let's see what's in front page of the newspaper. Under the visionary leadership of Sri Narendra Modi, Honorable Prime Minister of India, the G20 summit is set to scale new heights. G20 invitee countries. Modi Biden welcome progress in defense ties. Joint statement highlights deals on jet engines, armored drones with and WTO dispute settlement. PM says India US friendship will continue to play a great role in furthering global good. Maldives goes to the polls today. India wins 4 seats, BJP 3 in assembly by polls. Ethnic tensions still simmer in Sri Lanka. Restoration arrive at the center of latest conflict. Kharge BJP is trying to destroy Chhattisgarh. Court grants 4 more weeks to ASI to complete survey of Ganwapi Mosque. 2 years old drowns in pool. Worked non-stop for G20 must be regularized now. Sanitation stop. Anyway, nearly 12,000 sanitation workers have helped spruce up the city for the G20 summit. Tibetan community stages protest. One arrested for hawks boast on social media. Civic agencies join hands to roll out a red carpet for G20 delegates. WAG started over 6 months ago with several agencies including PWD and CMCD and NDMC working in tandem to spruce up the city for the summit. PWD revamped 40 key stretches, MCD put up art installations, and NDMC put up sculptures, fountains. Court raps police for not serving notice on its SHO citing G20 restrictions. As tropic curbs kick in, New Delhi weighs a deserted look. Phone tapping Bombay HC junks FIRs against IPS officer. Congress is engaged in a uniting Bharat, but BJP is trying to destroy Chhattisgarh. Addressing Bharose Ka Sammelan in Rajnand Gaon, home turf of ex-CM Raman Singh, Congress chief accuses the BJP of denying state its rightful claims and misusing central agencies to harass leaders. AAP announces 10 candidates each for Chhattisgarh MP. Adults free to marry are live with person of their choice. UDF demonstrates its might in Puthupalli registers a landslide victory. Win in Bageshwar, a morale booster for BJP hired for LS pool. Rajasthan governor sought for social security bills. Opposition parties in Odisha enter polls mode as BJD lays groundwork for assembly election. Malicious propaganda about BJP BRS ties affecting party position ready. BJP will forge ties with JDS for LS polls. According to the BJP veteran, Union Minister Amit Shah has offered 4 seats to JDS. Political comparisons make them allies despite the ideological mismatch. Prohibition of flying up unmanned aerial vehicles and kites till 12 September 2023. And overall, the criminal law bills and the big picture. Let's read this editorial page written by the retired Indian Police Service officer. The central government introduced the 3 bills in Parliament in August, called the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita BNS 2023, the Bharatiya Nagarika Suraksha Sanhita 2023, and Bharatiya Sakshya Bill 2023. They are to replace the existing Indian Penal Code 1860, the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973, and Indian Evidence Act 1872 respectively, though some amendments have been made and gaps filled through judicial pronouncements. The statutes have stood the test of time. It is worth examining how the proposed changes will impact law enforcement agencies. The Bharatiya Nagarika Suraksha Sanhita. There is an explicit provision in the BNSS on the registration of a cognizable offence in any police station, irrespective of the area where the offence is committed. Though this practice, known as recording first information report or FIR 0, has been in use for many years now, its formal inclusion in the BNSS may help complainants get their cases registered as a matter of right without running around. A provision has been added to permit has been added to permit the conduct of a preliminary inquiry to ascertain the existence of a prima facie case even if the information discloses commission of a cognizable offence punishable with more than 3 years but less than 7 years of imprisonment. This is at variance with the ratio of the Supreme Court judgment at Lalita Kumari versus Government of Uttar Pradesh 2013, where it was held that the police have no option but to register an FIR if the information discloses commission of a cognizable offence. Those certain categories were carved out to conduct a preliminary inquiry. This was only to ascertain commission of a cognizable offence but not check their truthfulness, as there does not seem to be an intelligent differentia vice versa the rest of the cognizable cases with overall objective of the proposition. This differentiation may not stand scrutiny in constitutional courts and courts. Nevertheless, this clause has advantages and disadvantages. The parties at a dispute may arrive at a compromise in the given limit of 14 days to conduct a preliminary inquiry. Our cases may not turn out to be true prima facie to proceed further. On the other hand, the police may misuse this period and avoid registering even true cases. All provisions of the CRPC on arrest have been retained in the BNSS. It would have been appropriate to include the issue of the Supreme Court judgment in Arnesh Kumar versus State of Bihar to justify an arrest by making it mandatory for the police officer to mention reasons of arrest supported with justifiable material. and for the judicial magistrate to record satisfaction and make it a formal part of the BNSS. A new clause says that for offences punishable with less than 3 years of imprisonment, an arrest could be done only with the prior permission of a deputy superintendent of police if the accused person in firm or is aged over 60. This may provide some relief to these two categories of persons provided the deputy superintendent of police uses the class judicially. The new codes provide for handcuffing in at least a dozen categories of persons who are accused of serious offences inter alia, such as one who commits a terrorist act, murder, rape, acid attack, or offense against the state. This is sure to help police who may be short-staffed to secure their custody. But the enabling section that guides handcuffing has not changed. It says that the person arrested shall not be subjected to more restraint than is necessary to prevent his escape. Therefore, the investigating officer will still have to justify handcuffing with the possibility of escape or physical attack when such criminals are produced before court, since the constitutional provision and enabling provision of the law remain unaltered. The Supreme Court's guidelines on handcuffing will still prevail. At the scene of crime, the new Sanhita provides for a mandatory visit of the crime scene by a forensic expert, and the collection of forensic evidence for offences punishable with more than 7 years of imprisonment. But on realization of the ground reality of limited forensic infrastructure at field level, a maximum 5 years of leverage has been given to state governments to bring this clause into operation. Therefore, unless state governments commit themselves to the provision of sufficient resources for the development of forensic infrastructure, technology, and manpower, the impact of this change may not be visible soon. The Sanita rightly encourages the use of audio video means in recording the various steps of investigation. This includes such as, however, the preferred use of smartphones as recommended as its limitations. The Supreme Court in Shafi Mohammed versus the state of Himachal Pradesh directed the Ministry of Home Affairs and the states to develop facilities for the videography and photography of crime scenes during investigation at the level of the police station. A pilot project is in progress, and this needs to be taken forward to ensure that the provisions of the new code are implemented in their true spirit. Despite a ban on the two-finger test in a case of rape, and this test having been termed by the Supreme Court to be unscientific and violative of the dignity and privacy of a rape victim or survivor, in Lillu at Rajesh and INR versus State of Haryana 2013, the ban does not have a place in the code. Since the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare had also issued similar instructions with guidelines for the medical examination, this was a good opportunity for the central government to have ensured compliance of its own instructions in a legal way. And the disclosure of identity of victim or survivor of rape, the provision of giving authorization to disclose identity to the next of kin in case the victim's minor victim is minor, may also be omitted, as the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act, which exclusively deals with this issue and does not have a similar provision. The Supreme Court in Nipun Saxena versus Union of India also expressed reservations, as the next of kin may not be an appropriate party to delegate such authority. Duration of police custody. A provision in the Sanita that has raised the eyebrows of critics is the increase in the period of the police custody exceeding 15 days. As provided in the CRPC, this may help the police to interrogate an accused person again if additional evidence is found during an investigation. However, there are two caveats to this provision. First, there must be adequate grounds to permit an extension. Second, the 15-day limit can be exceeded only after the initial 40 days or 60 days out of a total detention of 60 days or 90 days, depending on whether an offense is punishable with imprisonment of up to 10 years or more, the accused will still be eligible to be released on default bail after a total detention of 60 days or 90 days, as provided in the CRPC. Thus, the discretion to permit additional police custody rests with the judiciary. The Sanhita also proposes enlarging the scope of a judicial inquiry into suspicious deaths by including dowry deaths, but relaxes the provision of the mandatory recording of statement of a man. A male under the age of 15 or above 65 years in the CRPC at the place of their residence based on their willingness. It is hoped that this provision is not misused by the police, especially in crimes against women and children. A standing order that could have been included in the Sanhita with respect to inquest is the videography and photography of a post mortem, particularly in cases where it is a custodial death or is a death caused in an exchange of fire with the police or other authorities. The Supreme Court and the National Human Rights Commission of India have repeatedly asked states to comply with such instructions. Another observation of the court to make a spot sketch of the scene of crime drawn on scale by a draftsman in order to make it admissible in court could also be included in the Sanhita to improve the quality of investigation. Overall, some of the proposed changes are definitely progressive in nature, but cannot be termed as path-breaking or radical. What must not be forgotten is that police stations are generally understaffed, have poor mobility, insufficient training infrastructure, and poor housing facilities. Police personnel work under stressful conditions. Therefore, the colonial mindset will go only if police reformation is taken up in its entirety and not just by tweaking some provisions of the applicable laws. This is about the CRPC criminal law bills. Let's go to the next editorial page. Article change the playbook. Repatriate Indian children. Let's read this editorial page. Is a former Chief Justice of the Madras and Delhi High Courts and a former Chairperson of the Law Commission of India. Priyadarshini Patil, Dhara Shah, and Sagarika Chakrabarti are among several repatriated Indian mothers who were separated from their children by their host states in a gross violation of human rights that affect the well-being of the mothers, their children, and their families. After our children were confiscated by Australian Child Services authorities, and the family pleased to have the children repatriated to India fell on deaf ears. A distraught Patil, a mother of two working in the IT industry, was driven to despair. She ended her life. According to new reports, the Australian Child Protection Authorities had been called in by doctors in Australia against whom the mother had filed a complaint of mistreatment when her elder child was admitted in hospital for treatment. In Germany, Shaw, along with her software engineer husband, have been separated from their baby girl, now 2.5-year-old, who was sent to permanent foster care by Germany's Child Welfare Agency in 2021 after the parents were accused of having injured the child, despite evidence to the contrary supported by expert medical reports. Neither the parents nor the doctors accusing them of injury were cross-examined. The police investigation was also closed without charges over a year ago. And the court's own appointed psychological expert recommended that the child be placed under the supervision of a parent and a child center. But the court ignored all this in its decision. The Indian government has intervened, asking for the baby's return to India child protection authorities, but Germany is ready to relent. A similar playbook. These cases across different jurisdictions have increased in frequency over the years and follow a similar playbook. A young family moves to work in a high-income country. The parents are accused of abusing their children, either by the school where the children is struggling to adjust to foreign ways, or a hospital when they take their injured or sick child for treatment. They are subjected to a trial that is very one-sided, with assessment by social workers who are culturally prejudiced. Parental custody is terminated. The child and its siblings are then placed in foster care for the entirety of their childhood. Contact with parents is either completely bad or limited to 1 hour every few weeks in a dingy contact center. Very soon, the child is completely alienated from its parents. Typically, these children are placed with the local foster carers without ethnic or cultural links with the child's origins. Consequently, these children lose their identity and are unable to develop any bonds with their country of origin or their extended families. They emerge from foster care and doubly alienated. They are not citizens of the country of residence and also have no substantial ties with their country of origin. With some exceptions, the family, including the children, are Indian citizens. In ordinary circumstances, when removed from a parental custody, children are entitled to care from extended family. But since there are none in the country of residence, these children do not have that option. This is precisely where the playbook needs to change. A return is more humane. A return to safe placement in the home country is inarguably a more humane and compassionate solution for such children instead of leaving them in the custody of a foreign state. Sagarika Chaudhary, who inspired the characterization in the film Mr. Chatterjee vs. Norway, a case of a Bengali family whose children were taken away in Norway and repatriated after strong intervention by India, managed to raise her children well since their return. There are many other examples of children repatriated under similar circumstances who have grown up happy and well adjusted in India. Foreign nations should shed their sanctimonious, sanctimonious views and engage in a sincere inquiry of the parents' claims of cultural prejudice and unfair trials in the child production system. Sanctimonious views and engage in a sincere inquiry of the parents' claims of the cultural prejudice and unfair trials in the child production system. Moreover, regardless of parental behavior, the fate of these children must be considered on broader grounds than on a mere technical consideration of the place of residence. Persisting with a moralizing stance while ignoring cultural sensitivities and separating children from their even extended families is an abuse of child's rights in itself. Decision makers and governments must in each case, determine the benefits of returning such children to their home country where they can live with extended family and grow up in familiar cultures. This is about the playbook of repatriate Indian children. One nation, seven poles. The bipoles across this country were decided by local factors. Let's go to the next page. Ground zero, the slippery slope to the uh, Karunturu, Karunturmalai hilltop. 14 years after the civil war, Tamils in Sri Lanka, north and the east are confronted with a new conflict. There are growing contestations over land sparked by Buddhist structures springing up in a restoration drive. Miras Srinivasan and reports on how archaeological excavations are the latest manifestation of a lingering ethnic conflict. The Sinale once wanted to come and worship there, but we are not allowed to go to our temple. We have a majoritarian government that is not upright to violate a court order. Claims that the community that lived in these sites was Sinhala Buddhist are mainly driven by contemporary political compulsions. They are not evidence based. Two killed in violence near Cookie Joe settlement. 8 harmed miscreants, 3 security personnel sustained bullet injuries, over 40 women injured during mob control exercises, several Cookie Joe community members take refuge in BSF air camps. 14 CR deprived of food entitlements due to lack of consensus. Congress. Biden lands in Delhi, holds talks with Modi. Rahul Gandhi attacks government for not inviting Kage to G20 gala dinner. Cartoonist Ajit Nainan passes away in Mysuru. 6 opposition SCMs may skip dinner hosted by President. India wins 4 seats of BJP 3 in assembly by polls. Criminal trials ideally need dynamic judges, says the top court. Trade unions allege mismatch in claims by power. Coal ministries. New Delhi declaration almost ready, says India's G20 Sherpa. Paragraph on Ukraine remains a sticking point dropped to be handed to leaders for discussion at summit as officials downplay issues with China. These absence they indicate there have been a considerable movement on all the non-geopolitical issues. China's Premier Li Xiong arrives in India facing first international test. Bangladesh to hold a free, credible force. Ukraine war unlikely to end in immediate future. Guterres. We have a lot to bring to the G20 table. African Union chief. Trinamool Dubguri win a historic, says Mamata. Party wins in a BJP stronghold and against the combined might of the CPI and the Congress. Trinamool chief comments India for its performance in the by-elections held in other states. Rino Han recovered in Assam's Baksha district filed. Former UP Deputy CM elected to Rajya Sabha. After SC verdict, Ladakh Hill Council polls now on October 4. Beginning of BJP's and SP chief says after win, ruling for T cities cites local factors. Academics oppose VC appointments by governor. Shivaji's tiger clause to return to Maharashtra in November. Try and try again. One has to put in effort to attain a goal. This is the advice that teachers and parents give students. But even adults often forget this and tend to get dejected when their efforts fail. Often a goal is not attained easily. Repeated attempts are needed. If we give up after making a few attempts, we cannot be successful, said R. Narayanan in a discourse. Thiruvalluvar says that a determination to continue one's work results in prosperity, but lack of enthusiastic effort results in poverty. The length of the stack of the lotus is that of the depth of the water. The length of the stack of the lotus is that of the depth of the water. The extent to which a man rises is proportionate to his hard work and his determination. No matter how many times we destroy a spider web, the spider comes back to spin a new one in place, new one in place of the one destroyed. We have to learn from the spider. While there may be setbacks, that should not deter us from trying again and again. Kumara Guruparar in his Niri Neri Vilakam says that those who are determined to complete a task will not be affected by physical discomforts. They will not be bothered by angers. They will not worry about lack of sleep. They will not be affected by the harm that others do to them. They will not pay heed to the amount of time they spend on the task. Trikha describes the traits of a person who never wavers when he is working on a goal. Ukraine slams fake elections as Russia launches deadly strikes. Suspected jihadist attacks on Mali river boat and army base kills 64. Georgia grand jury recommended charging US senator in poll case. Nancy Pelosi, 83, says he will run for re-election to U.S. Congress. Eight candidate via for top office in Maldives fragmented elections. President Ibrahim Soli is seeking a record a second time amid a host of political challenges, including a diminished party after his former colleague and former President Mohammad Nasheed quit the ruling Maldivian Democratic Party. Philippines condemns illegal actions by Chinese boats in South China Sea. New submarine has nuclear capabilities, climbs North Korea. China Premier meets Indonesia leader, pledges a deeper ties. Beijing to work with Jakarta on several new giant flagship projects of its Belt and Road Initiative. Starlink turned down Kiev's request for internet access in Black Sea prevented attack, says Musk. India's G20 lead effective even if Russia absent. Ellen terms conflict in Ukraine as the biggest deterrent to global growth. Price gap on Russian oil still working, adds the US Treasury Secretary. RBI decides to discontinue ICRR in a paced manner. NATCO named in a lawsuit in US over generic cancer drug. Rupees snaps a 4-day losing streak against 21 paise against USD. RBI approves Deepak Gupta as KMB's interim MD and CEO. China slows fertilizer exports, are raising concerns in India. Dan Pos India opens new distribution center. IOC's Panipat ethanol plant to hit 100% capacity utilization soon. The Tata unit eyes 25,000 points up for change charging EVs by March 28. Weekend sport, the high-flying showman battling the superheroes. After his World Championship trim, the flamboyant Guillaume Marco Tamboro now has a full collection of major high jump golds in an extremely competitive era, often headlined by the phenomenal Muthaj Issa Bursin. Their showdown at Paris 2024 will be one for the ages. I know that I competed against the crazy athletes like Mutaj Bashim. Here is like a superhero for me. It's not easy to beat such a great talent. Weekend sport, meet the reigning queen of chess, Zhu Wenjun. The Chinese grandmaster who has held the women's world title since 2018 talks about her inspiration, her championship matches, her country's growing reputation in international chess, and the Indian players who have caught her eye. Bumrah rejoins his teammates. Samson released from squad. Kusal Pereira ready to take the field whenever needed. Silverwood. Shanto is out for a couple of weeks, says coach Athuru Singha. Dhoni spotted playing golf with former US President Trump. Bopana creates history but falls just short of doubles title. For the 43-year-old who partnered Ebden at Flushing Meadows, I became the boldest Grand Slam doubles finalist in the Open era. Ramanda Salisbury, the first duo to win three straight crowns at the final major of the year. Sabalenka class her way back to upstage keys. Reserved day only for India Pakistan Super Force game causes an uproar. A must win game for Bangladesh. Butler celebrates birthday in style. Messi Magic takes Argentina past Ecuador in WC qualifiers. Colombia beats Venezuela through Bores strike while Paraguay and Peru are involved in a goal-less stalemate. France stays perfect in its bid to make the grade for Euro 2024. Planned wins to revive campaign. Gundogan again to lead Germany before it hosts Euro 2024. Unfortunately, the second penalty was a questionable Gurpreet. India's Manav Thakkar was out in pre-quarters. Mayank and Nacher K crowned champions. Pragnananda in sole lead after a wide day of blitz event at Tata Steel Chess, India. Sumit Nagal in quarterfinals of Tulun Challenger. Green's injury provides Labuschagne an opportunity. In other fitness concerns for Australia, Captain Cummins, Maxwell, Stock, and Smith are currently out of action with varying degrees of seriousness. Kushwa's unbeaten top props up Madhya Pradesh against Delhi. 16 umpires for ODI WC. प्रधानमंत्री ग्राम सड़क योजना. Hangzhou in festive mood after launch of Torch relay. A pair of top officials ignite the sleek metal torch before a succession of national luminaries paraded at it as thousands of people line the streets of the host city. Dutch team wants Indian net bowlers for its preparatory camp at Hallur. India names squad for SAFF Under 19 Championship. As a big corporation, it's our duty to ensure we play our part. I was your chairman. Owners will be an executing my finishing skills, Gurjant. Rubial's accused of sexual assault. This is the last page, guys. On Saturday and every Sunday, there is no any text and context page. So at least read the newspaper for 2 hours in a day. It will make you very good in communication. So please subscribe the channel. I hope you guys have enjoyed the newspaper reading, and please subscribe the channel and like and comment for more videos related to healthcare and personal videos, healthcare education and personal videos. So see you in the upcoming videos, guys. Have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.